Hello everyone who clicked on this video. Today I'm going to show you the Skinchanger meta skins for CS2 and Dota 2. Well, let's get started. We are greeted by this loader which contains CS2 and Dota 2, strictly speaking. There are also settings here. You can select the language and change the bind that will open the Skinchanger menu. You can also enable the low poly map and additional features for Dota. We'll take a look at that a little later. Now let's launch CS and see what awaits us in CS. Just press play and everything will start automatically. We clicked play and the game started immediately. Now we wait a couple of seconds, and after waiting a couple of seconds the menu appeared. It opened by itself. Here we are greeted by the skins tab where you can choose skins, but we'll look at that later. There is also an other tab where you can place agents, cases, keychains, and other items. We will now examine all of this. Let us proceed to the menu. Let us try rotating the cases, as this Skinchanger provides us with this capability. This means that we can select any case. Let's say we do the Bravo operation and give ourselves 2 cases. You can add either a case or a case with a key. Let's add one with a key. We've added everything, and as we can see, we now have 2 cases and 2 keys in our inventory. Let's use this key to open one of these cases and see what we get. As you can see, everything happens exactly as it does in the case. That is, it is literally a function from the case. And here we got a knife. True, it's a piece of shit, but still, it's a knife. Why did we get a knife from the first case? Because there is such a feature. Let's jump ahead a little. There is a feature called case drop modification. You can adjust the drop chance from the case. That is, the higher the chance, the better the skins you will get. That is, a 100% chance means that you will get either gloves or a knife 100% of the time. It depends, of course, on the case. And we can also set it, for example, to 0 and see what we get now. Let's open the second container that we added and see what we get. And now we get a drop, just like in a regular case, which is complete crap. So let's move on to the features. What do we have? Cases. We understand that they work. Next are agents. Well, I think everything is clear with agents. You can just set them, and here is a preview of their models. Next, stickers. Let's choose any sticker and stick it on the duels we got. Let's apply the sticker to the duels we got. And as we can see, the sticker sticks perfectly. Everything is just like in the case. Well, let's check it out. Now let's choose the most unusual place. Well, or here. There, we've attached it. Now let's look at the skin. And yes, there's a sticker on it. Let's see what else we have left. We have keychains left. Keychains can also be attached to weapons. Well, that makes sense. If it's possible in the game, then it's possible here too. You can choose that too. Everything is like in a normal game. Everything is selected, everything is placed. Let's put it on the left pistol. That's it, we've placed it. Let's take a look. Yes, everything is there, everything is as we stuck it on. Everything is fine, everything spins, everything works. Let's move on. Graffiti. Yes, you can also. Another advantage of this Skinchanger is that you can put graffiti on it, which you can draw yourself. Unfortunately, only you can see it, but it's still pretty cool. We'll check out this feature when we start playing, but we've installed it and we'll remember it. Next, you can award yourself any medals. I think that's clear. Let's make ourselves the DreamHack 2014 champion. Display the site. And as we can see, everything is displayed this medal. Let's move on. Well, music packs are music packs. Everything is clear with them. Now let's go to skins. Let's try to put on, for example, some kind of glitch, and I'll show you how it all works. Here you see we have a preview. We can rotate it, which is also pretty cool. And what is the advantage of the interface used here? First, we can set any name tag. Let's say Freaks Go, and it will actually be applied. We can even see in the preview that it has appeared here, and we can write some more numbers and see that it changes. That is, everything works in real time, so to speak. You can also set start track any numbers. You can also see that it changes. This is very cool. See, it is, I think, understandable. The fact that you can enter all kinds of different things there and see what changes. Let's say we want a pattern like this. Again, you can open a table in Steam or in the community, find guides on the best patterns, and choose the one you like. Now I'm going to smoothly move to the right, and you'll see how the quality of our skin changes. As we can see, it's already starting to look more worn out, and this is what it looks like in the worst quality. So you can see the changes, which is also very cool. Well, let's check if all this is added to the inventory. That's it, we added it, and here it is. Yes, our Star Trek 1337 free CS2 pistol. So everything is cool, we can put it on right away. let's move on. Knives, well, with knives, I think everything is clear in general. Like any knife, everything is configured in the same way, everything is very cool. I think everything is crystal clear with this too. Next, gloves, well, there's nothing to talk about here, everything is exactly the same. But here's what it looks like, in case anyone is interested, that is, there is also a preview which is very cool. I haven't seen anything like this anywhere else, and the fact that everything changes in real time is also very cool. There is also a config, Sustom, which means that you can repeat someone else's conditional inventory. As I recall, this should be implemented automatically in the future, but it's not there yet. So now you can, for example, copy a streamer's site, save it in the config, then share it with your friends or have your friends send you some configs. Why is this convenient in my opinion? Because you won't have a complete mess in your inventory. That is, you won't have it as messed up as mine is now. Why is mine so messed up? Because I didn't use configs and added everything to one config, which is why my inventory is so messed up. Although in fact I only need a couple of skins here, that's why the config system is quite convenient. You can also clone, download, delete, and so on. I think that's all clear. So, we've entered the map. I just put up some graffiti. Now it's going to disappear and I'll show you again that everything works with graffiti. You can see that they are being placed. You can see that it says unlimited graffiti here. That means I don't actually have this graffiti. It's all from the Skinchanger, but unfortunately, as I said before, I'll repeat, other players can't see it either. Only you can see it. But overall, it works. And it's pretty cool, because in many changers and in general, there is no such thing. Although I, for example, and I think many others have this habit, that you, let's say, did some cool move, killed someone there or something else, and you have this desire to either twirl a knife or spray graffiti at the end of the round. Here, let's choose any surface at all. I don't know here or, well, let's do it here so it's visible. Here I release it and it's applied with a sound and everything is as it should be. That is, everything literally works like in CS, and we can not only put this one graffiti but any that you absolutely like. Also, these graffiti, you see, the white ones. Why are they white here? Because they have a lot of color versions, so we click on any one and choose the color for this graffiti. Here, but I think everything is clear with this. Let's try putting void now. Let's see if it will work for us. So let's put void. That's it, we've applied the graffiti. Now we can choose just like in regular CS. Let's try void now. And void has been applied too. Everything is fine basically, everything is good. Now let's go and check if it works on Valve's official servers. But I'll tell you right away that it works, so there's no point in doing that. But let me show you so you can be sure, bounce. And everything works as you can see. Okay, let's move on to Dota. It's much more interesting there. I'll demonstrate it to you now. Okay, let's try going into Dota 2 and see what's there. But before that, let me remind you. At the beginning of the video, we saw that you can set low poly map, enable low poly map and additional features in the loader. So, what does low poly map do? We'll see now. I'll leave it on and leave the additional features on as well. So here we have Dota 2 running, and as we can see, the Skinchanger is working. That is, we select, say, any character and we see that we can easily apply all the skins. Any of them, yes, that are available in Dota. Oh, and by the way, they are only available in Dota. Let's go to some anti-mage now. Here we have, let's say, a set yes cache. And look, there is such an immortal set. These are custom skins. Everything is much simpler in Dota than in CS. So you can safely add custom skins here without any chance of a ban. Let's go to Dwarf Ranger, for example. And as we can see, this is a regular Arcan. I have it now, and here we see these immortal sets. How can you tell if a skin is custom? First, it's a skin that you won't see in Dota in the usual way. And second, all custom skins have immortal rarity. And that is, you see, yes, that it's not displayed correctly and it says who it's from and that it's for a meta skin, that's it. Let's see what's here. So there are some sets like this. Well, in general, I think everything is clear with the skins, that there are all the usual skins here, and there are also custom skins. There is also a meta picker here, which you may have seen, but we'll come back to it a little later. Now we'll go to the arsenal to show you that everything works here, that you can put any couriers that are in Dota, absolutely any, that is, further. I think it's all pretty clear, but just in case, I'm showing you all this so you'll have fewer questions about what's in the Skinchanger. The so-called you can also add landscapes, but I'm not going to do that yet. They work. but I'll show you later in the game how the low poly map works, and then I'll turn it off and add some landscape. So for now, let's leave it without landscape. Well, let's move on to the meta picker right away, so we don't have to come back to it later, because there are actually a lot of features that I need to tell you about. Time is not elastic, and plus, this is really the first skin changer with so many features that I just need to hurry up and tell you about it. How does the meta picker work? Let's say you started looking for a match and you want to play, for example, as a carry, the best carry in this patch. And now you have the 4 best carries from this patch with the highest win rate. Let's say you want to include the carries that don't have the highest win rate and put the letter A next to them, then B, and so on. This way, you can see all the carries that are generally played in this patch. Next, it's the same with mid. Well, I think it's all clear with support and so on. Also, as a bonus, when you are in the lobby, the meta picker will suggest which character is best to pick in the draft against your opponents. That is, conditionally, if you are not playing in turbo single draft, but if you are playing in normal alpine or rating, then the meta picker will tell you what is best to pick based on Dota buffs and everything else. That is, it works meta picker in fact. It's what parses just the Dota buff and all open sites. And it's absolutely safe, because that's all the information. What you see here, in fact, is open sources. Nothing is taken from the game files or anything else. It's just all the sites that are available to all of you on the internet. That is, the game files are not affected in any way. I think everything is clear with that. Now let's move on to the hero test at the end to see if the skin changer works in general because, well, you can draw anything you want in the menu, some might think. And as we can see, the landscape has changed. Strange trees and strange water. What is this? This is, in fact, a low poly map. What you see here is a low poly map. These water lilies, this water so pixelated, these triangles on the floor, all of this comes from it. Next, what about the trees? Trees are simple. You can just customize them, choose completely different ones and color them. You see, everything works, everything is great. That is, you can set any color at all, everything will work and there will be no problems with it. Also here, in addition to these trees, as I said earlier, there is a light setting. This is really cool. You can adjust the color however you like. That is, let's say, how it will be by default, right? Well, maybe not exactly by default. Sorry, I just accidentally stumbled upon it outside of the recording. Here. Anyway, there are default presets here. Also, for those who are too lazy to configure, you can try them all out and see which one you like best. As you can see, everything is applied in real time. There are absolutely no problems with this. You can also rotate the preview. Everything is as it should be, everything is cool. Next, we have the settings for the skin chain hero itself. There is already a build helper here, which I will also show you now. The peak helper is, in fact, what I told you about in the meta picker, that it helps you choose. Plus, the meta picker will also suggest which aspect to take, which aspect is better for your character. This also applies to builds, meaning you can easily assemble the best builds for any role on any character. Everything works. Meaning you can see that everything moves, everything is great. That is, everything clicks, all items are like from a regular shop. As you can see, everything works just like in a regular store, everything is very cool, everything is really awesome in this regard. Player notes are reviews about players. This means you can leave a review about any player you liked or didn't like. We'll take a look at this now when we go to the rink app. Cursor trail, I think everything is clear here. Here I move the cursor and this line appears behind it. I wouldn't say that this is the most necessary feature, but it's kind of cool. If of course you like all this, all the lights, RGB, and you're a school kid, here you can customize the river. As we can see, I'm changing the value in the menu and the river itself is changing. Everything is fast, everything works perfectly. Here's the blood, everything works exactly as it should. There are no problems whatsoever with the functionality of this feature. Nothing at all, everything works exactly as you see it, right before your eyes in a matter of seconds. All that's left is to show you before we go into the match, and that is the ward helper. Yes, as you can see right now, let me close the bench. As you can see, I just took a ward and it immediately shows me the best place to put it, namely here. Well, of course, this is all because it's training, which is why there are such strange spots here. But in a normal game, everything will be fine. I'll show you all of this right now. That's it, I think we can move on to the game itself. because we've already looked at everything else we could, absolutely everything. Let's proceed. Now I will demonstrate how the ward helper works in the scooter. Here, we are already being offered to place a ward here. They are suggesting we place a ward here, which, by the way, is quite unusual. Oh, let's say we didn't like the game of my opponent who stopped me. We click here on the additional checkbox that appeared. And we see his nickname, the character he is playing, and we can leave any review about him. Let's say noob. We'll write that he's a noob, bet player, retard, and so on. We send it, and now we go to the player notes and see that he's a noob, bet player, retard. Now, as we can see, his nickname has changed color, specifically to red, because we labeled him a shitty player. But we can change it, let's say, to say that he's not such a bad player, and that's it. That is, he's a good player and his nickname has changed. That's convenient. So we entered without a low poly map, and as we can see, everything is working for us. That is, we now have regular water lilies, these Dota ones, regular ground. Let me show you who doesn't quite understand what this is about. I'm now inserting a clip where I'm standing in roughly the same place, and how it looked with low poly and how it looks now without low poly. Anyway, let's wrap it up. Write in the comments if you have any questions. Like or dislike depending on whether you liked this so-called quick review. That's it for the live stream. Subscribe to this channel, there will be more interesting stuff here soon. So, bye everyone, good luck, thank you all.